What's going on, everybody? Wrapping up the weekday here. Rockets Daily brought to you by Fan Arch. I am David Delano. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We're going to keep going and looking to keep growing with the help of you guys. Thank you so much for all the comments. Yesterday we broke down the lineups. Today we're going to talk about some other things. We're going to talk about that unanimous survey that was taken by The Athletic. Over there, you can check it out on the New York Times. A lot of stuff you need a subscription to view it if you want to view the whole thing. I have a subscription. I'm going to go over some of the things with you as far as how it pertains to the Rockets. We're going to do a little bit of an update on Aziz Olajuwon and keep up with our Rockets history, which is going to also heavily involve around his father as well. Follow me on X at Get Sports Strong. First of all, let's get into this. And there may be more times that we talk about this, but this poll that was taken by the Athletic, this anonymous poll here. And they asked a lot of different questions. First of all, they asked, what is the league's best organization? Now, on this survey, players, first of all, they can't include their own organization. And it's important to say that 137 votes were cast. So that's still, what about 25% of the players in the association? No surprise, number one, Golden State, almost 22%. But I'm really trying to get at here, the Rockets were not rated in the top 16 for the best organization in the NBA. Now, on the positive side, the Rockets also were not in the top 10 for the worst organization. So out of 26 organizations, Rockets, I guess, right there, that 17, 18 range, kind of in that, but not really thinking about them as an organization, good or bad. Charlotte Hornets, by far, rated as the worst, 38%. Wizards, 20%. Pelicans, Kings, 76ers. Actually, had the Mavericks at 4.5%. A lot of that may have, I believe this happened after the trade went down. Bulls, Knicks, but very small margin, 2.7% for the worst. But when you look at the best here, Golden State, number one. Thunder, number two, 17.5%. Celtics, 15.3%. Then it gets a little tighter. You had Clippers, 8.8%. People love the Clippers, man. I know that it's a new era in Clippers basketball. They got Ty Lue. They do things differently now, but hey, I don't know. I just hey, everybody's got their own reasons. Miami Heat 5.8, Lakers 5.1, Spurs 4.4. And as I mentioned, that the Rockets not in the top 16, but wondering going forward in this next year if that's something that'll change, because I look at this survey. I mean, you get the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it only takes a few small numbers to make a percentage jump. You look at the Cleveland Cavaliers made the list. I mean, 3.6. Milwaukee Bucks 2.9. Pacers 1.5. I mean, Cleveland, I'd have to go back and look at the past surveys. And I think that it's pretty safe to say that not too long ago, Cleveland would have been rated as one of the worst. And I mean, Bucks obviously barely there at 2.9. But the way that things are quickly changing in Milwaukee, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks find themselves on that worst list soon. Point being, a lot of things can change. Obviously, the Warriors and Thunder being at the top. You understand it, along with the Celtics. So, thing that I'm wondering, it looks like obviously the Rockets received less than 1% of the votes for best organization. Now, this came out before this offseason, and before the NBA Finals. So Halliburton was rated as the most overrated player. I'm sure that definitely would change. This is before the Rockets got KD. You just kind of wonder, historically, the top organizations in the NBA, it's going to be a combination of on-court success, culture, the way that they take care of players. And the Rockets, like I said, they haven't rated as one of the worst organizations. So we'll see next time that they have a survey like this. But what do you think the Rockets really need to do? Honestly, I think they just stay the course. Rockets will get there. Consistency. I think that if you did that survey right now, Rockets are going to, I say, at least be in the top 15, maybe even higher. I'm not sure as far as like the off the court things like that, but I think the way that the Rockets are going, that they're in the right direction. And Udoka was ranked on that list. He was rated number 6 league wide as far as a coach that you would want to play for. And I think some of that could be why he's maybe not higher, just because of the demands that he has defense. Even though 6 is good, I mean, I think reason maybe not top 3, just the demands defensively and calling guys out, which I am completely fine with. I love it. Steven Adams, interesting enough to say, Steven Adams was listed as the second most feared player in the NBA that you would not want to fight. James Johnson, 38-year-old veteran who last played with the Pacers last season, I believe a mixed martial arts expert there, was by far the number 1 guy that people would not want to fight. But Steven Adams, number 2 on that list. As we look at this list, and they had most overrated players, most underrated players, didn't really see a whole lot of Rockets movement there. I want to ask you, who's the most underrated Rocket? I mean, Amin Thompson last year, he was kind of at the bottom of the most underrated list at 1.5%. Going forward, I don't think that it's, for me, I can't really call Thompson underrated anymore, because I think that he's getting his flowers, made first team All NBA in defense. So, who's most underrated at this point? I'd love to see in your comments who you think that the most underrated Rocket is, especially when we look at odds for a most improved player going into next year. And then you also even look at, the eye test paired with the analytics. I would say Tari Eason. But you could also say, I mean, Bleacher Report, they have him in the top 100 players list. Aaron Holiday, someone who doesn't get to play a whole lot. I think Aaron Holiday is underrated. Jason Tate doesn't really get to play a whole lot. I mean, the way that the NBA's changed now at his position, small forward, maybe game originally built like a power forward, but not tall enough in today's game to play that position. Maybe his game more fit for 20 years ago, and just the way that the team's playing doesn't get as many minutes. Clint Capella, who do you think's the most underrated Houston Rocket right now? Definitely interested in the comments on that, and that's something that we can go ahead and touch on a little bit more. A guy that, and this is if you live in Houston, or even if you don't, obviously Rockets fan no matter where you are, Aziz Olajuwon, one of Akeem's sons. More things going on with his college recruiting. He's offers now considering University of Houston, TCU, Vanderbilt, Stanford, and Cincinnati. Now all adding to the list. ESPN has him rated number 92 in the nation. And I've seen him as high as number 11 in the state of Texas over there at Clements High School in Sugar Land. So, someone you might want to check out. 6'6", 6'7", shooting guard. I've watched him play in person the last couple of years. Looking forward to seeing him at least a couple times this year as well. So, always nice to just let guys know what's going on. And who knows, I mean, you may be able to see him at the University of Houston, and knows if he'll follow in his father's footsteps. Not putting those type of expectations on him, but as far as being a Rocket one day as well. All right, so moving along in Rockets history, a fun year to talk about here, 1985-1986 season, which up until this point, and really even when you look at the Rockets history now, maybe the third best season in Rockets history. Well, I'd say at least before 2010, but arguably, I mean, only the 4 NBA Finals appearances. This was the second one, and unlike the one that happened in 1981, where the Rockets managed to get to the NBA Finals with a losing regular season record, this one was a little bit less shocking, as the Rockets at the time was the best record in franchise history. 51-31, were second in the Western Conference. Rockets went into the Western Conference Finals, And Rockets went into the Western Conference Finals there. And so Rockets in the Western Conference Finals lost the opening game to the Los Angeles Lakers, 119-107, but won the next 4 games, beating the Lakers in 5 games there on the path there. Went on to beat the Denver Nuggets in 6 games in the series prior. Opening series, swept the Sacramento Kings 3-0. Bill Finch returned to face the Boston Celtics, this time on the side of the Rockets. He coached the Celtics when they met the Rockets in the 81 finals. Boston Celtics won the first 2 games of the series. Rockets won a tight game 3. Celtics went on to win game 4. Rockets won game 5. And unfortunately, the Celtics ended up closing the series out in Boston, winning it 4-2. But it really goes down. I mean, that Celtics team that particular season was one of the best in NBA history. Went 67-15. Rockets went 51-31. So Rockets were obviously they were the underdog in that series, but strong showing. Elijah won that season, second season in the NBA. 23.5 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, 3.4 blocks. Ralph Sampson, still early on in his career, man. Sometimes people label him as a disappointment. I'm not saying that, but big part. I mean, obviously the Rockets going to the finals this year. 18.9 points per game, 11.1 rebounds per game, 1.6 blocks. At that time, man, when healthy, I mean, Sampson was getting it done. You had Lewis Lloyd averaging 16.9 points per game. Shout out to John Lucas, 8.8 assists per game, 15.5 points per game on that season. Bill Finch mentioned was the coach. So that was a very strong season, 1985, 1986 Houston Rockets season. Leave me a comment, man, if you were following the Rockets and old enough to remember watching that 85-86 series live. If not, you can leave a comment on anything. Let me know what you guys want to go ahead and talk about on Rockets Daily. We're rocking through the off season, and any other topics you want to hear talked about, let me know. Comment, subscribe to this channel. There's going to be a lot more to go. I appreciate it so much for you making it to this part of the video. Every viewer, every comment, even if you don't comment, thank you for being here with me. God bless. Be safe out there, and I will see you guys on Monday.